in the interest of health and safety, I'm going to be a good example and wear a hard hat, because I don't know any of these horses, and this is a bit of a strange environment for everyone. And it would be unlikely, but I don't want to get kicked or for any of you to have an injury. So unfortunately, if you haven't got a hard hat and if you can't beg or borrow one, I'm going to have to ask you to not have a go. But I'm sure there's probably enough between us to have everyone have one. So when you approach a horse, especially one that you don't know, what you want to do is just have a little look at their demeanour, so he looks fairly chilled. And she, sorry. You know, I tend to always approach them to the shoulder just so they can get to know me, you know, understand that I'm here next to them. And this is just stroking, so what you guys do. Okay, and I'm just going to show you on the neck those 2 strokes that I was going on about. So the first one is your stroking motion. So I'm just going to choose this muscle here, which is your brachiocephalic muscle. I think it's number 2 on your little list. Okay, you can see I'm just cupping the muscle gently, keeping my fingers nice and relaxed. You can do it here as well, and just running along the line of the fur. Okay?
Are you pushing down at all or not?
I'm very gentle now, because this lady told me earlier that you know, that she's quite sensitive, so I'm going to keep it fairly gentle to begin with. And then as you go on more, you can actually go in a bit deeper and just get a bit more of your body weight behind it. So if you notice my feet, I've actually got one behind the other, and that means I can put a lot of my weight down through my arms rather than having to be up here and using my shoulders only. So step stance position, as you should be doing with, you know, normal manual handling, and just putting all your weight through it, and gradually I can just get a little bit more weight through it. So as you can see, I'm actually moving around the neck. Just for today, I'm going to say it doesn't really matter how you massage, which direction. It matters a bit more on people, because theoretically you should always go towards the heart, but I think on horses that's sometimes a bit difficult because they're so big. I think you just need to be sensible with it, okay? And similarly with the direction in which you massage, I think it's more important that you just get a massage stroke that's comfortable for you and the horse, rather than try to be very specific about exactly which direction you go in. So, you know, coming down and across, as long as it feels fairly comfortable and easy for you, you could maintain that quite happily for 10 minutes if you like, rather than, you know, trying to come in here and, you know, do that. The other thing I would mention is the fact that, did you see I was doing a very rhythmical motion using both of my hands? So at no point is the horse without one of my hands on them. This is partly because of safety, because half the time I've got my head turned around, and partly because I want to maintain that connection. So that was the first stroke, so that's the stroking one, and when you guys have a go, I will actually, again, get you to have a go. Maybe someone's coming. Just on me again, or, you know, we'd just like to get an idea of the pressure. So again, we've moved position, so I'm going to say hello again. It's probably quite good because it means you guys can see something a bit more heavy. So just a double check. A little bit of stroking, okay, and then a little bit of kneading for second. So using the heel of my hand, okay, and you can just do small circling movements. Now and again, I'm not pressing too hard to begin with, because I just want to see how she reacts, okay? And you can get a little bit more pressure through just by changing your body weight. So I'm doing most of the motion by rocking at my feet rather than moving my hand too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I think it's on the, let's double check I'm actually sticking to my plan. That was it. So where should you massage? That's the last point that you normally get asked. I think it's the most important one, obviously, and that's why you've got that picture at the back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk a bit less. I'll try and talk as I go along, but I'm actually just going to go through each of the number muscles and just show you the type of strokes that you could try there, and you know what you could do. just so that you can get an idea of what you could do as a whole body kind of, I guess, treatment. Does that sound alright? Or would you prefer me to do one and then come and have a chat about it? Yeah, does that sound okay? So we'll see if she'll play ball. Do you mind giving her a tiny bit of place? Is that alright? It doesn't matter. Probably just kind of happy facing that way, isn't she? Okay. I was going to do some painting on horses, but I figured that I'd be better off just using these demo horses for the actual demo rather than putting paint all over them. Okay, so the first one on that list, again, I just say, I'm not being terribly specific, I've just called them the pole muscles, I don't really want to need all the fancy names. So just moving up towards the head. So again, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to leave my hand there for a second, just to see if she'll not mind me being there quite so much. And if she doesn't like it, then I'm just going to show you on a different horse. I'll skip that one out. It's a bit tall for me to go off onto my tiptoes. Okay, so plan A failed, let's go on to plan B. So we're going to go down this muscle here. I think I've put it down as the second one, so that's your brachiocephalic muscle. So I think the most important part to mention about this one is that your neck vertebrae, or your spine, runs directly underneath it. So most people think that the spine runs along the top of a horse, and if my nice assistant over there at the camera could get the, spinal model? So you can actually have a look at my spine model and pass it round and just get an appreciation of what the anatomy is. Unfortunately, my model has actually lost all of its legs, I think. So it's only really got the spine and some of the muscles came together. I think it's still nice to see where the actual neck in particular runs. It's a lot lower than what people think. So all that you can see is coming down here. And then what happens is it comes down here and then comes all the way back up again. Okay? So it's a really odd shape. It's not what you would expect. So because the spine runs underneath this muscle, I would suggest only doing the stroking and only doing it fairly lightly. Okay, just along the length of the muscle. And I'm just going to come here again just to show you what I'm doing there. Okay, so just cupping the muscle. The next one I think I've put on your list is potentially the pectorals, is that right? Yeah? You'll have to remind me. Yeah, pectorals, pec muscles. Okay, so these are the muscles here at the front. And you know, they quite often get tight with your show jumping types or the venters, so you're having to snatch their legs up as they go over the jump. And I'd probably say that one of the nicest strokes to do here is again just the stroking, so nice downward motion, and then pull back up again. What we could do is leave her be and then swap with the horse so that
It's only when the car's got back, she's just trying to get the girls.
you can face that way. Yes. Right, so pectorals. Show jumpers, because they're having to tuck their legs underneath. And also because when a horse, just a small anatomical point, the horse's rib cage is actually not really attached to the front legs by anything other than muscle. Some of you might remember this from the talk I did a while ago. So it's really the whole rib cage and the leg is just like a sling. So you've got your two legs and a sling of muscle underneath it, and the rib cage is sat in it. So if you think about it, when a horse lands from a jump, it lands its legs down, and then it bounces down into that sling. And that sling, one part of it is the pectorals, and they run all the way underneath, actually to the girth line. So you can appreciate that if you're doing a lot of jumping, those are going to potentially get quite tight. Not making it look very good for you. So, nice stroking motion. So I'm going to try going a little bit further just to see if she prefers that. I think again, you have to really judge what your horse prefers and kind of be a little bit able to adapt. Oh. This isn't so bad. Hang on. I'm not asking to do anything. Okay, so is everyone happy with that one? So just stroking down and under. Okay? I think the next one I've gone on to talk about is your triceps. Yeah, is that right? Okay, so that's this really nice big triangle. Okay, so I'll go back up here. I'm going to try and keep it to the sheet, otherwise you'll be jumping all over the place. So your muscles are basically attached in lots and lots of different layers, and I'm not going to tell you what all the different layers are, which is why I've kind of given you the anatomical name and then just told you what different is. So it's essentially a triangle of muscles here, and this part here has got pretty much no bone or anything underneath it, so you can get a really nice pressure going up through it without too much issue. So you can do your stroking motion, coming down, to come across, depending on whether or not they don't mind you going against their coat, don't seem to mind. Yeah, so just this is all still stroking. I'm putting my body pressure behind it. And because this muscle is just a nice big triangle, it's a nice big squishy bit, what you can do is just do a little bit of that kneading. So starting at the bottom and doing the circles on the way up. Starting on the bottom and doing the circles on the way up. I'm just going to swap hands.